Hey guys, it is Ava and I have Karina here.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about a huge milestone that we both experienced together. We both did a NPC muscle bodybuilding show, bikini division, and it sounds like, oh, you just walk on stage with your bikini, but it was a lot more than that. It involved a lot more than just getting to the gym. It is a mind, body, soul situation, and it's an experience that we have in our hearts forever, and also something that's changed our lens, I feel. So we're gonna talk about how it's impacted us, and I feel like through this time that we're all going through right now, I feel like the realization and the 2020 vision, it is 2020 and geez, our vision could be blurred right now. Um, I feel like the lessons we've learned, we could share with you guys, because I know there's a lot of different feelings going on. But I wanted to start with something. This is stats that I realized, or I was brought to my attention by another content creator named Nas. And after I saw these stats, it really, I'm already someone that I feel like a catalyst in wanting to do XYZ rapid fire right away, fast pace. But this really makes me want to really experience life every minute. Even though we're in quarantine, I think we should remember that. A lot of people ask me why I wake up at 3 a.m. Why am I like, why is that necessary? But what Nas had was, in one of his videos, he had a post-it, right? And he had his numbers, but I did my interpretation. And it says 35 out of 75. And he said that in New York, 75 is the average lifespan. I'm 35 right now. 35, if my lifespan would be to 75, I'm 47% through my life. Okay, and when you put it that way, it almost is morbid, a little creepy. It makes you think, you get mixed emotions. When I realized I'm almost 50% through my life, you could take it kind of almost negative, or you could take it like, I'm not wasting any more time. I need to send a message, and a vlog like this is a way to share our message with multiple people.
Oh, I'm at 52%. I just had to calculate it. So I'm a little bit older than you. So I'm at 52%.
So, Karina, I just shared this with Karina right now. So, like, what did that make you feel when I shared that
I was
stat?
like, oh shoot, that just made me because I'm already on a mission. I'm already like, I have no time to waste. Like, gosh, I'm 39. Like, I gotta get it done, if life is ending tomorrow, did I do everything that I was put on this earth to do? And so, and we don't usually think that way because we're like, oh, we have time. We have time. I'm healthy. I'm young. But putting into that perspective, I'm already past my half point.
And you know what's crazy? I don't know if the universe is trying to tell me or everybody this, but with Kobe passing, it makes you realize you're not invincible no matter what you've accomplished. We've learned that the coronavirus does not discriminate. It is getting people worldwide. And then now, no matter where you are and you see the stat, when you see this average life expectancy, which you don't even know if it's average anymore, with what Kobe saw, anything could showed us, anything could happen. Or with the coronavirus, like, these stats are skewed. Like, people don't even get till 75. How many in the US? I think whatever the number is at, over 1,000 for sure. Some people didn't get to reach this number.
Just
So
never know. Yeah.
so it's crazy. And how does this relate to I know we started with the NPC, but I know I did that show because I told myself, you only live once. I want to know what my maximum capability is. I want to see myself at the best shape, because when else are we going to do it? And 2020 now is making me realize, oh my God, thank goodness that, I did do it, because there's so many things that we need to do. But what was your realization from, like, for me, I know a big thing was the mind-body connection. Would you say it was, how did you feel going into it and then after?
Well, it was a year ago, so bear with me. I don't know exactly before and after, but I think for me, I remember writing my why I wanted to do it. And to me, it always comes down to glorifying God and my connection with God, like increasing my spirituality. To me, it was almost like a fast. A fast is a prayer. A fast is when you get hungry, and you get hungry for food, but and you can't have it, you get hungry for God. And just to sidetrack a little bit, like I think that, for example, places like in Africa where I've been and I've seen amazing miracles, it happens because they have nothing else. They have nothing else but their faith. So it's like they put 110, 200% of their mind and their focus into God. And wherever you put your mind and your focus and your attention, it expands. So to me, going into the competition, it was a fast for me. I wanted to get closer to God. But in the process, not only I learned and grew so much, I realized a lot of things about myself. One of them, and this is really vulnerable to say, but I think a lot of women are going to relate, is that deep down, there was a desire to be seen. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be like, yes, I'm a badass, I'm beautiful, I'm gorgeous, I'm strong, and I wanted to be recognized. I wanted the validation, but I also wanted to see myself. It wasn't so much the external, this is what I realized recently, really. It wasn't so much about the external validation, but the internal one. I wanted to feel like I'm beautiful and I'm enough. Because I think in the process of my life, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, didn't matter how much I did, I always felt not good enough. I always felt like I'm just not enough. And so this past year has been a process for me of seeing myself, seeing the real me and being like, I'm enough, I'm good enough, I'm beautiful, with, 17% body fat or 24% body fat, like with a medal, winning first place or not, being on stage or not, like I'm enough, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing. So that has been a huge journey for me. And it's ongoing. I'm not going to say I always feel beautiful, especially as we're aging, it's a huge thing in our society. So I can't say I feel beautiful and enough all the time, but I've come a long way of self-acceptance and self-love. I think there's so much talk about self-love these days, and we don't really go deep enough. We think, oh yeah, I'm working out and I'm eating healthy, and yes, I love myself. But do you really? How do you talk with yourself? And sometimes we're not even aware of our self-talk. Sometimes we're not even aware of our self-sabotage. And I think that's a huge thing for me. A lot of times I realize, even now, when I don't reach a certain thing or I don't reach out for a certain thing that I want, it comes down to that. Like, do I really think I'm worthy? And so that's kind of the journey that I've been on. I think that's probably my biggest lesson from the show, is really finding that deep, deep, deep connection with God and with myself.
So do you feel like you are more, you feel more connected after experiencing that extreme, I guess you could say, fast to get to your goal?
I think that going through that process was amazing. It was super hard. I mean, the last 3 weeks were very, very intense for me. And I collapsed a couple times. I don't know if I told you, but I came home one day and I thankfully I had a friend come over for something, and I was on the ground. Like I had just worked out, and I don't know why I was feeling sick. I was thinking of calling the ambulance. I was like exhausted. And luckily she came over and she gave me some water because I couldn't move. And she helped me, and I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I ate something and I was good. So it was very extreme for me, and there were moments that I wanted to eat that chocolate. I love my chocolate. There were moments that I just wanted to eat where everybody was eating. And there were moments that I didn't want to exercise. So I wanted to be, I had to be like really focused and pray, like, God, give me strength. God, give me, and connect to myself too. Like, why do I want to do this? And to get into the next step. There was also, you remember this, I had just started my coaching program 3 weeks before going on stage. And this program, we all go to the hotel room and we're there for 5 days. It's like a boot camp. It's like a boot camp for your soul. And I meal prepped. I think I was having 6 meals a day. I meal prepped all my meals and took to the hotel. And I ate the same thing, and it was very difficult. It was very challenging, and I got sick, and I was going through all this internal, like, soul cleansing, deep inner healing, and super depleted from food and sick. I got sick. I didn't have a voice. It was so challenging, and I don't know how I did it, but it's like when you put yourself in that situation, that's when how amazing our bodies are, how we are a machine, and our minds. Like if you put your mind to something, we're capable of so much more. I was listening to a book the other day. It's David Goggins' book.
Oh, I love him.
He's amazing. And there's something, the biggest thing that I got from that book is it talks about the 40% rule. When you think you're done, you're only at 40%. And I think that the show showed me that those moments that I collapsed, the moments that I was collapsing, I was not at my 100%. I mean, maybe the moments that I was collapsing wasn't at 40%, but it was more up there. But a lot of times we think we are capping and we're only at 40%. So it really put things into perspective.
And do you think when you went over the hump, ultimately, like whether it was the transformational program you did emotionally, and then again the bodybuilding right after that, were you different after you went over the hump, like moving forward?
What do you mean by hump exactly? Like after the show?
I know a lot of people, they're thinking when you say, oh, I've collapsed, I lost my voice, they go, then why am I going to go through that? I'd rather just eat my bag of chips. And why don't I just numb myself? Why do I need to face what I'm feeling emotionally and go to those events where I have to confront my emotions? Why is it worth it? Like, what did you take away something that you could always reference? Like, are you a different person? Like, because I could see people going, that is so, just to go on a stage, like, why would you do that? So that's like what I'm trying to grasp. Like, it's gonna be hard. Why do it? Like,
that's a good question. That's a good question. And I think that the last day of my program, I was so sick, I was so exhausted, and I was just sick of everything. I was like, F this. Why the F am I here? Why am I doing this? I was literally throwing F-bombs. I was like so mad. I didn't want to get up. I threw a fit. I threw like, little kids are like pissed and they're like, yeah. I was just like that. And I thought for a second of giving up. I was like, F this shit. Why am I doing this? And I think a lot of people go through that when they're challenging themselves. Even David Goggins, he said, if you listen to his story, a lot of moments he's like, why am I doing this? And, I had my reasons to not give up at that moment. I'm going to be really candid here. The financial at that moment, I paid for that course and it was not cheap. So the financial was a big thing. I was like, let me think this twice. I'm not going to give up. But mainly my commitment to myself, my commitment to myself, my commitment to God. That's what kept me going. And once I passed over the hump, I felt so powerful, so empowered. And it's like you stretch yourself. It's just like working out. So this is a big thing for me. My fitness journey is just like my emotional journey. It's just like my mental journey. It's just like my spiritual journey. Everything is connected. And the way you do one thing is the way you do life. So, just like when you're exercising and you go to the gym and you're like pumping, iron. And when you think you're going to give up, you got to do that one last set, right? And that's how you build your muscle. The same way is how you build your mental muscle. It's the same way you build your spiritual muscle, your faith. It's the same way you build your capacity, you increase your physical capacity, your mental capacity. You have to push yourself to that moment when you're like, God, why? And then once you go over it, you increase, you expand. It's like stretching. You start and it hurts, but you keep going, you're consistent. And then next thing you know, you're doing the splits. It's just like everything in life. You have to push a little bit more every day and, every so often.
And I feel that once it expands, like, because a lot of people go, but you could gain the weight again. But I think once it expands and you've felt it, you could never take that experience away. Whether the next month, I freaking went to town and ate whatever I want. You could never take that experience away. I've always went back and referenced it. That was a point of reference whenever I have another challenge in the future, or I know especially you doing 2 joint journeys at once. And when something happens at work, it's like, like you almost want to giggle to yourself. If I did what I did it last March, then I could do this. And what's funny is I had a major aha moment as you were like talking about the journey, because what that journey I feel did for us, it did for me definitely, is when you're on this, for me, like I know you would have set food, you'd set food when you were there, you already knew what you had to eat. For me, I ate literally 4 different types of food. I didn't have to think of that. All the distractions of, what am I going to eat today? Like, those are taken away. You know what you have to eat, you know what you have to do to work out. And I think a big part of that, when bodybuilders say it's all mental, I mean, you're left with yourself. You're told what to eat, you know what to do to work out, and you hear these and feel the challenges, and you have to face it. And my aha moment is, what's very funny is, like, that was a 6-month period where you really have to face yourself and have a really great relationship with yourself, because when you are committing to that, you kind of commit to taking away those distractions and just having to face your goals and whatever thoughts come with the goals, because you're not thinking about what you're going to drink at the bar. You're not thinking about what you're going to do for 2 hours at night, because you have to go to the gym. Well, at least for me, whether you want to fit something after the gym, but you have to do that between whatever hours you decide. Now that we're in quarantine, and I really want to relate our experience of quarantine, because I know as people watch that's what is going through their mind right now. Funny connection is, you kind of are in a similar journey where the universe just took away every distraction from you, and you are home. And for most of us, I know some people are still out there in the front lines, but for a lot of us, we're home in quarantine and we have to face ourselves. So I know a lot of people that were going through breakups months before this, or someone passed away in their life months before this, and they're not feeling everything until now, through quarantine. And I think the similarity between our body building competition and what we're going through right now is you're in a journey where you really have to be in a great relationship with yourself.
Can I say something about that? Because being, that I've done this coaching program, and I am a coach right now, I'm giving free online sessions to help people go through this time. This is a great moment. This is amazing, because we we run away from our feelings. We run away from things, from like wanting to face things our entire lives. We numb ourselves. We drink alcohol. We numb ourselves with food. Some people numb themselves with exercise. You know, some people are addicted to working out. Some people numb themselves with Netflix. Who is that? Watch Netflix 24/7, binging on, you know, these shows and like, oh, I've watched everything. What's next? I mean, stop numbing yourself, because you know that thing that you really, really want, you know that dream that you have, the more you numb yourself, the less you're able to actually get that. And the reason being is a lot of times we have all this stuck energy, because really that's what emotion is. Emotion is just emotion, energy, emotion. Okay, it's just energy. It's not good or bad. We have this tendency to say, oh, I'm happy, it's positive, it's good. I'm sad, it's negative. No, it's just energy. It just needs to move through your body. And we're afraid to feel our emotions. We're afraid to feel our feelings because we think it's going to last forever. We think we're going to die. That's just the ego, you know, oh my God, I'm feeling, I'm going to die. And we're not. I mean, how many times you had the heartbreak? Did you die? No. I mean, sure, it was hard, but once you get over it, once you move on from it, then things start to flow in your life. When we have this stuck energy in our bodies, it creates disease. It creates our reality, really, because this is the biggest lesson. If you want to take one thing from this conversation, take this. There's no out there. Okay? Everything is in here. There is no world out there. Whatever is out there is your projection. It's what's going on in here. What you're going to see through the lens of your eyes, or connected to your brain, or connected to your heart, to your emotions, to your soul. So everything you see out there and everything that's happening in your life is your own manifestation. So if things are not clear here inside of you, if your energy's stuck, if you're stuck in old patterns that were conditioned when you were a little kid. And I'm sorry if this is like too advanced. I can go back a little bit and explain more. But the point being is, if you're stuck with all that energy, guess what? Nothing's going to change in your life. Okay. So take this moment really and sit down with yourself and feel those feelings. If you had a breakup and you're still hurting from it, don't text your ex, and don't go on Hinge or Bumble or dating apps trying to, you know, meet other people to fulfill that need. Don't do that. Just sit with it and feel it. Just breathe into it. Just notice what's coming up. Notice, where is it in your body? Where's the tension? Where's the pain? Sometimes the pain's going to move. You're going to feel it like it's here, and then it went to your legs, and then it went to your head. It's okay. Just let it move. Just breathe into it. And like, you know, if you have to stretch or help it move, you know, go for a walk, that's good. But really sit with yourself and feel that, because you only heal when you feel it. That's the biggest thing that I think people don't know these days. You only heal your heart when you feel that pain, when you feel those emotions, when you feel that anger. You know, stop suppressing the anger. Feel it. If you have to punch some pillows, let it out, and breathe into it. Breathe into your heart. Do some meditation. I mean, if you need help, please contact me. I'm giving free sessions. I want to help people, because I've seen what it's done to me. It's done to my life, and I've seen what's done to other people's lives. It's amazing. So this is the perfect time, especially if you're out of work and you're not, because I'm working from home too. I work full time in here, so I'm super busy. My life hasn't changed much, but I know a lot of people are not working. So take this time to work on yourself. Read that book, meditate. You could come out of this 30-day quarantine cleaner and healthier and really ready to take on the next thing in your life, the next challenge, maybe the next relationship, you know?
I love everything you say, and like as you say it, because you see, we speak the same language. Like I know you said, oh, is that, you know, like is this too deep? And I'm very into what you're saying, but I also love analogies, and like whenever I think about it this way, like how you said, you know, now you have to feel it. Like it's almost like if someone got stabbed, you don't just put like a band-aid or you wrap the knife in there, right? And
Exactly.
the feeling when it's time to pull it out, or when people, you know, you see it in the movies, they get shot and they literally take the pliers and they're cringing and they pour the alcohol and they take it out. Like they know they have to go through it and face that feeling, and then they could heal.
Yeah.
Until this time is the bullets in there, but you go about your life. It's almost like, you know, when during the Super Bowl, like, you know, they say they don't feel anything till the Super Bowl is over, but their legs broken and you're just going around numb and not feeling it and running off adrenaline. That's
Right.
what a lot of us are going off of. But the thing is, like, you can only do that so long until the blood is gonna freaking come rushing
Yeah.
and it's gonna kill you. So you need to feel it, pull it out, and then you could heal. But you cannot heal. Have you seen anyone walking around with a half knife in their bodies? No, because they would let it all out. But I feel like I need to say that because people are numb to the words, like, you need to feel, like, because when you hear something a million times, it's almost like I almost have to tell someone vividly and they're like, oh shoot, that is, like, you're right, no one is running around with that, like, a bullet halfway through their bodies. So think about this time as facing it, because, and truly healing. And also I like to think about this time as incubation. You know, if you want to come out a different person, a butterfly doesn't just right before your eyes turn from a caterpillar to a butterfly before your eyes. It goes in a cocoon and it goes through all the processes and then it comes out a butterfly. A chick doesn't just turn into a chick. It's in an egg. It's enclosed and it has to go through its thing and change and develop, and then it hatches. So I feel like that's the time for us right now. And I was just, you know, telling Karina off this call that, you know, it's so funny that everyone says, I want to read this book, but, you know, I've been on a million trips and I'm never home, or I want to meal prep, but I'm never home. But then now that everyone's home, now there's a, you know, XYZ excuse. If you truly want to develop, if you truly want to be the butterfly, now is really the time. And if you're finding reasons why it's not, I think you need to reflect on that. You need to reflect on why you want to leave that knife there. Okay? Because
And can I add one more thing? You know, I think that during this time, there a lot of things are coming up for people. Like they might be getting triggered for whatever. Like fear, for example, it's a huge thing, right? And I'll give you a total honest example. A couple of weeks ago, I watched some videos, conspiracy theories and stuff, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I was feeling so hopeless. I had like 2 or 3 days of depression, feeling hopeless, like what is gonna happen, you know, world doomed. I mean, these were the thoughts in my head. Like it was dark. I went into this dark couple days. I didn't reach out to anybody, completely isolated myself. You know, we're already so isolated. I'm like, I don't want anybody to feel my negative energy. So I double isolated myself, didn't talk to anybody, didn't answer any calls, and didn't want to exercise, was eating junk, was eating sugar, cookies, you know, Nutella by the spoon. I mean, it was bad. And what I'm trying to say is things are going to come up for you. Okay, so what came up for me was my fear of dying alone. This was like, this came up to me and I was like, wow, I'm afraid of dying alone because I live in a little studio by myself. You know, I'm single and I don't have a lot of family here. I only have my sister. My mom lives in Mexico. And so I don't have a lot of close friends around here. So I'm like, oh my God, what? This is the zombie. It's the zombie, you know, what's that show called? It's the
apocalypse.
It's the apocalypse, the end of the world. And I started going to this, you know, my mind was going off. And we have a tendency to do that and go in that downward spiral. And I freaked myself out. And then I remember, I was like, oh my God, a year and a half, 2 years ago when I did that first seminar that I told you about. And before the seminar, there was a questionnaire and I wrote, there was a question, what is your biggest fear? And I wrote, my biggest fear is dying alone. And I was like, wow, this is what's coming up for me. I'm afraid of dying alone. it's not really that I want to be in a relationship. I'm afraid of dying alone. And so I went there and I sat with myself and I felt all that stuff. And I reached out to, my mentors and the people that help me on my day to day. So it's very important when you're feeling down to reach out to people that your mentors or your community or the people that can get you out of it. And I said, look, I'm in the dark right now. I need help, please. And I listened to a few, my mentor for like 5 hours, and I did my prayers, and I had a session with another, more experienced coach, and I snapped out of it. Overnight, I was this brand new person, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Thank you, universe, that you sent me this to heal another part of me.
Wow.
And I kid you not, I was really open to, I'm still open to being in a relationship, but I was like, I need to find a man. I was kind of going back in that bad cycle of like, I need a man. And then I was like, no, I'm totally fine. And I'm not going to die alone. I have plenty of people that love me around me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a phone call away. Like, but anyways, that was my fear. So I encourage people to ask themselves, what is coming up for them? Like, notice the thoughts, notice when the thoughts come up, the emotions that come up. Where's that coming from? When did this start? And then if you start going down the rabbit hole and downward spiral, always take a deep breath. Breathing work is amazing. This is something that I found only a few months ago, maybe a year ago. Breathing work is amazing. Do some breathing, stop, take a step back, and think right now. Are you safe right now? And I'd say 90% of the people that are watching this, probably 99% of the people that are watching this right now are safe, and they have enough food, and they have enough water, and they have a shelter, and they have people they love and that loves them. So if you're safe, then you're good, right? And then I also keep some questions here for my own self that I sometimes ask myself, like, how's the past coloring the present? So why am I feeling this way? What happened in the past? What am I projecting to the situation that happened before? When did this feeling start, right? And then another question, what am I getting out of staying stuck? So those are good questions that I usually ask myself, because if you're stuck and you're not getting out and you're like, I'm just gonna be here and feel sorry for myself and isolate myself, because there's the people that numb, and then there's the people that just stay in that zone of negativity.
Yep.
And they just feel sorry for themselves and they just stay there. So it's like, what are you getting out of staying stuck?
Yep. So those questions give you perspective. Gosh, it's so crazy. I swear to goodness, the universe wanted this call to be so impactful, because of all days, this morning I watched a video from Don Locke, and basically he said, and I don't even think this video was recorded during this coronavirus time, he was just talking about the law of attraction, and he was talking about how he doesn't watch the news. And it was so funny that you brought up the news and you said it brought you down a rabbit hole. He said, I don't watch the news because I am very protective of my energy. He said, if something needs to concern me, he said, someone from my team will tell me. But I choose not to watch the news, and I will be informed, because he's a really successful man. So if he really needs to be brought to attention, it will. And I actually do not watch the news, so I didn't really know I had to be quarantined until someone at my work told me I had to leave the building. That's how protective I am of my energy. And he said, I need to stay guarded. And he goes, let me give you this example. He likes analogies too. He goes, if I made sure if I had soil, I had a garden, and I planted a rose bush, and every day I'd make sure I water it, and it's beautiful, it's blossoming. He goes, imagine I didn't plant the seed, and I didn't put anything there, and it was just in darkness. He goes, what happens? He said, weeds start to grow. So his point was, you need to be mindful of surrounding yourself with positive people, so that whatever is in that soul, because our minds are like, just think of it as blank soil. You could either plant beautiful rose bushes and positivity and feed it, or you could let just the wrong seed come in, like the news, which could be a weed. And if you don't bring in the good energy, the weeds will just start to grow and take over. So what we're offering, and this is great that I didn't even like, it's so crazy how this all orchestrated together. My goal with Karina and I coming this call is to realize that, like, pretty much you are in control. What the bodybuilding competition showed me, just to kind of reel it all in, is where it really starts within. She brought up, it was a detox for her. It was a detox for me, where you don't, like, at the end of the day, it's like the biggest journeys are when you face yourself. You're forced to take away all the distractions, and that's when you really freaking grow. And when you're mindful of what you put in your body, because it's really hard to be mindful when you're numb, and it's very easy to be numb with day-to-day life when distractions aren't pulled away from us. And it's so funny how it's like, we're seeing how people get a little taken, like a little shuffled or thrown off when you are left to be with just yourself. So instead of being shuffled, I'm choosing to incubate and fill the void that maybe the distractions filled in our lives, with maybe not weeds or anything distracting, but maybe things of more substance, and grow that rose bush at this time. But like, how do you, like, what would you say as we kind of finish off this call, like the takeaways, wherever because I know Karina is talking to people directly that are kind of uneasy or having different emotions about this unpredictable time, like the action steps, like from everything we said on this call, like, how am I supposed to act tomorrow? You know?
Well, I'd say, first of all, I would leave you with two homeworks. One is, I totally recommend this book. This is, it's called You Are the One. It's by Coop Blackson. He's my mentor and teacher. And it's an amazing, amazing book. It's a quick read. I think I read it in like 2 days. And it's really easy. He talks a lot about, he does these seminars in India. Actually, he used to do a 101 transformational adventure in India, and he doesn't do that anymore, but he does the Bali event for groups. And so there's some stories about the events and the trips, and some of his trips to India and whatnot, to the world. So it's a really fun book. I would totally recommend everybody to read it. It's changed a lot of people's lives. It's changed my life. That's one book. The other book that I just read that was phenomenal, it's called You Are Enough. You Are Enough by Panache Desai. So I leave you 2 recommendations of reading. I'd say journal. If things are coming up, very, very good to journal. Write them down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to make sense. Just write everything down. Take a few minutes every day and just write it down. Meditate. There are tons of guided meditations on YouTube. You can start with 5 minutes, expand it to 10 minutes a day, and so on. You might really like it. And if you're ever having a moment and, anxiety, a lot of people are having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, just take a step back and breathe. Count. Easy. You can just count to 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold down for 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. Do 5 breaths of those, 5 minutes, whatever you can. Just breathe. Slow down the mind. Breathing, just focus on your breathing. It will slow down your mind. And then think about that. Are you safe? Stay connected with the people that you love. Have a mentor, have a coach, Again, I'm giving free sessions. Contact me. Talk to somebody. Don't stay alone. I mean, yeah, you're alone. You could be isolated at home, but you can still be connected via FaceTime, call people, whatever you have to do. Exercise. I know it's a long list, but all those things help. Every little bit. If you do 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of journaling. If you do those 3 things, I guarantee it's going to help you. So I'll leave you with that.
And guys, yes, that's a list of things, but hey, you are worth it. And that's what it takes to build a strong, nothing that strong, didn't take work. And this is the time to do it. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are saying they're bored. Well, with that list, why are you bored? And also, also on a serious, the thing that really helps me and has helped a lot of people, and I think this is a positive one. I know a lot of business owners have been shaken and worried. And you know what has healed them is going, instead of worrying about their business, they go, you know what? I'm going to go start packing up food and bringing it to the people in the front lines, the nurses, the doctors.
Yes.
Help me is serving others. When you're worried about how to serve others, your worries, small. And so,
thank you for that. That's huge.
Right? Doesn't it feel like such a relief when you think about how you could help the masses? Your worries just whittle away. So, to wrap it up, again, I just want to remind people, we all have our timeline. Let's use that timeline on thinking, how can we help others and how can we overflow? And let's think about, let's work on that list and think of 3 things or 3 people we want to reach out to, overflow to, serve. And maybe it's not even about you anymore. Maybe it's I just reached out to 3 people today, and that everything will just heal itself. So thanks, Karina. This was talk about overflowing. I'm overflowing now.
Yes.
So it feels great to start my my Sunday like this. Yeah, that's why I'm glad we started at noon. I have the rest of the day to pour this energy out. So thank you, Karina. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please share this. I think it'll help a lot of people. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. And we're here for you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.